Okay, this part is timber, talking about how wood was a big part of the war. The British Navy was strong and well known, and basically they needed timber. So they would send people out, look for the biggest ones, and mark them. The biggest part in this section is the fact that timber means wood, and transport means to carry, and that the British troops went in, found the biggest wood, the best wood, cut it down, made ships, and carried goods back and forth between the two continents. Okay, this one's about the Minutemen and the militia. Both were volunteer colonial soldiers during the Revolutionary War. There are two different groups, though, that the Minutemen, well, let's start with the militia. The militia are the people in the town that got together and decided to make sure they protect their town and their area, and they wanted to protect their families, and so they came from many different backgrounds, but they were just the town's armies. They used their own weapons. Now, the best of the militia, the best of those groups got together and became what's called the Minutemen, because they had to be ready to fight at a minute's notice. So they would go first to battlefield, and then the militia would come and back them up. Soon, the Minutemen began to train under George Washington and became part of the Continental Army. This is George Washington, gentleman, soldier, patriot. This basically was saying that we know a lot about George Washington as far as him being our father of our country and, you know, our first president, but he was a lot more than that. When he was only 11, his father died. Can you imagine working at the age of 11, your age right now, working, running a plantation? But his mother also made sure he was behaved well at all times. At 16, he was a land surveyor, so he kind of looked at land and kind of decided where lines should be drawn, things like that. At 22, he joined the Army, the British Army. He fought many battles in the French and Indian War and almost died many times. Then he went and got married, and he was very busy and successful. But he was not happy with the way British treated the colonists. So he started to speak up, and then they gave him the challenge of leading the Continental Army. He worked very hard to prepare the soldiers. He led his troops into battles carefully, and he was known for surprising the British Army when they least expected it. He became a very strong leader that made him a great choice to lead the men who wrote the Constitution in 1787. 2 years later, he was unanimously, which means agreed on by everyone, elected as the first president of the United States.